Okay, so we're gonna go over writing expressions, equations, and inequalities. So just real quick, we're gonna go over this in the notes, but equations have equal signs, expressions don't have equal signs, and inequalities have signs like this, right? Okay, so we want to know that there's common phrases that go with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So with addition, we have sum, plus, total, more than, increased by, right? So if I say n is 8 more than m, we would say m plus 8 equals n, right? More than, so n is 8 more than m, you could write it like that. Subtraction, we use difference, less than, minus, decreased by, right? Find the difference of n and 2. So it's going to be n minus 2, right? These are examples. Multiplication, times, product of, so for example, 1/4 of 24 is actually 1/4 times 24, which would equal 6. And then division, we have quotient divided into per. So per is really common in real world applications, right? We have like miles per hour. That's like 60 miles per divided by 1 hour. Okay, so we want to translate the following phrases. So we have 3/4 of a number, 5 less than a number, the quotient of 7 and a number, the sum of a number, and 8. So I'm gonna see if the camera can pick up on, I'm gonna write this in pencil so you can sort of see like this is the question and this is the answer. So 3/4 of a number could be written like 3/4 of a number. Remember, this is multiplication, and when we have a number to multiply by each other, we could have a dot there, we could have parentheses, but what we want to start doing when we have a number and a variable is just put them next to each other. And then this is a coefficient. And it doesn't have to be n, right? We can use any variable. So we could say 3 over 4x would also work. 3 over 4 smiley face would also work, as long as smiley face is a number, right? We can use any single variable. Okay, 5 less than a number. So that would be g minus 5, right? If we think, sometimes we get confused, right? Sometimes people want to do 5 minus g, but that's not right. So you want to think of it like put in a real number. So if I say 5 less than 8, it would be 8 minus 5. So 5 less than a number would be the variable minus 5. Okay, so the quotient of 7 and a number. So quotient is divide. So we could write it like 7 divided by x, but we want to start writing with fractions. So we would actually want 7 over x. So this is right, but we want to write it like this. And then the sum of a number and 8, x plus 8. We could do y plus 8, right? Any variable. Smiley face plus 8. Okay. Rate. We have a fraction that compares two quantities measured in different units. So, for example, that could be, 240 miles per 3 hours. Or it could be like 8 cookies a day. A unit rate is a rate when the denominator of the fraction is 1. So instead of 240 miles per hour, we would simplify this. We want the denominator to be 1, so we would actually do 240 over 3 equals 80 over 1. So it'd be 80 miles per hour. This would be a unit rate. Alright, so this is the rate, and then we simplify it to get our unit rate, right? Because we would have 80 miles over 1 hour. The denominator is 1. Okay, let's have another example. A roller coaster. So I'm going to try and start making the problems in pen and then the answers in pencil. A roller coaster travels 240 miles in 2 hours. Find the unit rate in feet per second. So over here we're going to have some useful conversions. 1 minute equals 60 seconds. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 1 mile equals 5 to 80 feet. 1 yard equals 3 feet. So it's useful to have these conversions so that you can switch between units. And you do this a lot in other classes. Like, you switch units a lot in chemistry. So it should be a similar process, a review, hopefully. Okay, so let's do the problem. So we have 240 miles in 2 hours. So remember, our goal is to get in feet per second. So in order, there's a vocab term called the identity property of 1. And that means that we can multiply anything by 1 and it stays itself, right? Like 5 times 1 is equal to 5. 5 times 2 over 2, this is another way to write 1, is still equal to 5. So if these things equal each other, we can write them, right? We could have 1 minute over 60 seconds, and that equals 1. Those are the same thing. So we can multiply this to switch units. So if I'm in miles and I want to get to feet, I'm going to use this miles per feet. And remember, they cancel out, so we want the miles to be on the bottom so that it cancels out the miles right here. So we have 1 mile, and then 5 to 80 feet. Okay, so now we have feet on top, which is what we want, and now we need to get seconds. So we have hours on the bottom, so we need to get an hour on the top. And then we go to minutes, so 60 minutes. So now we have minutes on the bottom, and we want to get seconds. So we have to put 1 minute on top and 60 seconds. So if we look at the units, right, we have the miles cancel, we have hours cancel, we have minutes cancel, and then we're left with feet per second, which is what we want. So I'm going to use a calculator for this part. Okay, so I have, let's see if I can show you, yes. Ideally you would use a TI-84 like this, but this one isn't working, so, but you want to get used to this. So if you have the one, use it, or borrow one from the classroom. So we have 240 times 5 to 80 equals a lot. 1, 2, 6, 7, 200. And then we have 2 times 60 times 60. Remember, when we're multiplying fractions, we multiply the numerators and then we multiply the denominators. That was a vocab term. So we have over 7,200. And we want the unit rate. So we're going to do 1,267,200 divided by 7,200. 176 equals 176 feet per second. It's pretty fast. Okay. Write equations and inequalities. So we're doing some definitions again. Equation. A mathematical sentence formed by placing the symbol equal between two expressions. Remember, expression was a vocab word. Expression could be like x or 2x or 5y or 3 plus 9y, right? Expressions are just numbers and variables together with like operations like plus or minus, but no equal sign. And then the way to make it an equation is you add the equal sign. So, for example, 2x plus 4 is an expression. 2x plus 4 equals 5x plus 10. Now this is an equation. So I abbreviated it EQN, equation. Inequality. A mathematical sentence formed by placing one of the symbols not equal to, less than or equal to, greater, or greater than or equal to, between two expressions. And I just want to say, like, for these problems and stuff, if you know how to do them, then like skip through my explanation. I'm just explaining it in case you had a teacher that didn't explain it in the past. But I don't want you to take forever on this homework if you already know it. It's just a good review if you need it. So feel free to play this at, a fast speed or skip through some parts as long as you feel like you can understand it and you can explain it to someone else. Okay, so for example, we have 2x minus 4, or sorry, less than 4. We could say 4 is less than negative 1. We could also say negative 1 is less than 4. So both of these things are equivalent, right? We just flipped the order. This one is saying 4 is greater than negative 1. This one's saying negative 1 is less than 4, right? Both mean the same thing. Okay, unfortunately this got stapled sort of weird. So you flip it over. And we have another chart to fill out. Hopefully you've seen these symbols before. Is equal to, is less than, is less than, or equal to, is greater than, is greater than, or equal to. In other words, so this is sort of like that other chart, right, where we had like if you see the word difference, it's actually saying you need to use subtraction, right? It's like a coded language. So in other words, this means the same as, fewer than, at most, no more than, more than, at least, no less than. Okay, so solution of an equation or inequality. When you substitute a number for the variable in an equation or inequality, and the result is true. So last lesson for this one, not the probability one, we did like plug and chug, right? We did like evaluate. So we'd say like, oh, 8x when x equals 3, and you would just plug it in. right? So this is similar, but now we're seeing if it's true. So let's do an example. I'm going to switch back to pen. Check to see if 8 is a solution to the following. (9g minus 4 equals 70). 4y plus 8 is greater than 10. So we're going to plug in 8 to see if it's true. So we have 9 times 8 minus 4. And then here we have 4 times 8 plus 8. So let's just do this one at a time. Okay, so 9 times 8 is 72 minus 4. That is equal to 68. So is 68 equal to 70? No. Not true. False, right? Here we have 32 plus 8, so that's 40. Is 40 greater than 10? Yes. That is true. Okay. Use mental math to solve. So this is just flexing those muscles, getting quick at mental math. Okay. Sorry. So what number times 9 is 27? What number plus 6 is 14? Right? So hopefully you can do these really quick, mental math, right? Like in your head, you don't need a calculator. What number, right? This is our variable y. What number plus 6 is 14? So hopefully you know, okay, y equals 8. You should be able to do that in your head. 9b equals 27. The way of saying that in English is what number times 9, so b is our number, our variable, is 27, and we should be like, okay, b is 3. You should be able to do that in your head really quick, but if you wanted to prove it, you would have like, 14 minus 6 equals y, 27 divided by 9 equals b, but you should do that in your head, like you should just know without having to go through the steps of solving, ideally. Okay, you try. Find the unit rate in feet per second, 30 miles for 2 hours. And then another problem. There's not much room on this paper. I need to reformat it. You can write your notes below this other problem. Check to see if 3 is a solution to 5z minus 8 is less than 20. Okay, so we want feet per second. So we need to get rid of the miles. And if we look back, we remember that it's 5 to 80 feet. We have the hours, so we want to put the hour on top. 60 minutes. We put the 1 minute on top, 60 seconds. Because remember, all these things equal 1. So this is saying I want this times 1 times 1 times 1. So it should be the same thing, right? The identity property of 1. The only thing is we're trying to switch between units. So, right, we have our miles gone. We have our, oh wait, no, we want our feet. Whoops. We have our hours gone. We have our minute gone. So we have feet per second, which is what we want. Let's use my handy dandy phone calculator again. We have 30 times 5 to 80 is 158,400 over 2 times 60 times 60 again is 7,200, and then 158,400 divided by 7,200 equals 22. Okay. I need to remember to get a TI-84 because it's really important to be quick with that calculator, especially for a test like the SAT or an AP test. Okay, check to see if 3 is a solution to this. So we plug in 3. 5 times 3 is 15 minus 8. 7 is 7 less than 20? Yes. So we know that's true.